Welcome to WEFM's 3 p.m. News. I am your presenter, Jessica Klein. First on the local scene. Assistant Superintendent of Police, Panel Brown, is urging motorists of the Vincentian public to cease the misuse of demonstrations, otherwise known as D-plates. According to Brown, D-plates are to be used by dealers of motor vehicles and not on vehicles that are already registered. Brown's remarks were shared on WeFM's Cup Chat program. We hear more from Superintendent Brown.
Vehicles that are being registered and licensed in some cases, that persons are still using a demonstration number on that motor vehicle or on the motor vehicles. This is a practice that you must stop immediately because the demonstration plate is not to be used for that purpose. It's a dealer's plate or the dealer of motor vehicles. They are extended the courtesy from the licensing authority because of the nature of their business, where they can move their motor vehicle from point A to point B, or from the wharf to their business, and also for the purpose of someone who is going to buy a motor vehicle.
That was Assistant Superintendent of Police, Panel Brown. He said that dealers should be responsible with their D-plates and cautioned against the lending of the vehicles, as the plate should only be used by the owner. Brown also disclosed that several charges will be brought against anyone who is caught misusing the demonstration plates. Citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will have the opportunity to apply for employment with the Swiss Global Cruise Line, MSC, in just a few weeks from now. Minister of Tourism, Carlos James, has disclosed at a news conference held on Monday that representatives from the cruise line will be recruiting Vincentians in October. The recruitment drive will be held from October 9th to 10th, with the aim of hiring 100 workers for various professions on board the MSC ships. The recruitment drive will take place at the cruise ship terminal. Still on the local scene, Minister of Agriculture, Sabota Caesar, has said that the recently signed Memorandum of Understanding between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada strengthens CARICOM's quest in reducing the region's high food import bill. The goal is to reduce the food import bill by 25% by the year 2025. The minister's disclosure came during an address at Parliament. We hear more from Minister Caesar.
Please permit me to further explain the context in which the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, was signed. And it's very important that we spend time having an appreciation that even though we are operating as ministries, ministers, governments, that we are part of bilateral platforms and multilateral platforms in the OECS and also CARICOM, because the signing of this document strengthens our quest to achieve the CARICOM 25 by 25 plan, which is to try to reduce the food import bill by 25% by 2025.
That was the Minister of Agriculture, Sabota Caesar. The implementation of the CARICOM Agri-Food Systems Strategy in the member states is expected to help achieve this target by giving special attention to priority crops and products such as poultry, corn, soya, meat, goat, sheep, and beef, rice, and niche vegetables, which are highly imported products in the region. On the regional scene, two resources designed to strengthen suicide prevention efforts: Preventing Suicide, a resource for media professionals 2023 update, and a policy brief on the health aspects of decriminalization of suicide and suicide attempts, have been launched by the World Health Organization, WHO. According to data, suicide is the fourth leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-olds and a major public health issue, with 700,000 people taking their own life each year. Not only is each loss of life tragic in itself, but it also has profound and devastating effects on families and entire communities. Suicide can be linked to multiple complex and intersecting social, economic, cultural, and psychological factors and challenges, including the denial of basic human rights and access to resources, as well as stressful life events such as loss of livelihood, work or academic pressures, relationship breakdowns, and discrimination, among others. It is the goal of the WHO Global Mental Health Action Plan and the UN Sustainable Development Goals to reduce the global suicide rate by one third by 2030. Countries have committed to taking concrete measures in this direction as the WHO calls for urgent action to meet the 2030 goal. An announcement by the United States Department of Justice, DOJ, has disclosed that the Western Union Remission Fund began distributing up to 40 million US dollars in funds forfeited to the United States from the Western Union Company. These funds are being distributed to about 25,000 victims located in the Caribbean, the United States, and other places. On Friday, September 15th, the DOJ stated that these victims will recover the full amount of their losses in the second phase of the Western Union remission distributions. The first phase paid more than $365 million to over 148,000 victims, all of whom received full compensation for their losses. According to the DOJ, the second phase of the Western Union remission was opened in March of 2022 to provide victims who had not filed petitions in the first phase of distributions to have the opportunity to file for remission. And finally, on the international scene, Australian wildlife authorities have fined a Gold Coast man who filmed himself taking his pet snake to surf. Earlier this month, Higo Fuza and his Bradley carpet python Shiva became local celebrities after a video with them catching waves went viral, but their short-lived fame tipped off wildlife protection officers. According to the authorities, the man endangered Shiva and breached his permit to keep the snake by taking her out in public. Wildlife officer Jonathan MacDonald, in a statement, said taking native pets out in public can cause them unnecessary stress and could make them behave in an unpredictable way. Queensland's Department of Environment and Science had stated that an investigation was launched after the surfing duo appeared in local media. This week, the department has imposed a fine of $2,322 to Mr. Fueza. This has been WEFM's 3 p.m. news. I have been your presenter, Jessica Klein. Join us again at 5:30 p.m. for WEFM's evening news, and we thank you for listening.